Okay, can you guys hear me now? I don't know why that was off. Turn that down a little bit. Okay, can you guys hear me now? I don't know why that wasn't on. Okay, you can hear me now. That's good. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it just disabled my settings there. Um, yeah, for some reason OBS decided to turn off my desktop audio and my mic audio. Not like the desktop audio was really that important, but the mic audio was turned off. Okay, am I too loud though? Do you need me to turn myself up, turn myself down? Because I don't want to talk too loudly, but I just want to make sure you guys can hear me fine. I'm not deafening you. Your internet's out, so you've been playing zombies. Ooh, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, it was actually really funny because I think it was Thursday. I was in the middle of one of my online classes, and my school's power went out for like half a second, so it disconnected me. So that wasn't the most fun thing trying to get back in. All right. Well, since you guys are here, I guess I'm just gonna explain what this is. So this is a blog that I started, I think, in September. I've written two things on it so far. Well, okay, technically three. One of them being just like explaining what the blog is for. But I've written two like actual like blog posts. This is an essay of sorts, but it's my own personal essay, so I actually care about it, unlike my other stuff. But yeah, so this is a sort of a blog site that I started up early on in September for when I was going back to school, because like since I'm at school, I can't really like record or stream really. So this is sort of my way of getting my ideas out there instead of just bombarding Twitter, where if you guys follow me on Twitter, I bombard Twitter a lot with my ideas and go on super long tangents and end up having like super lengthy threads of tweets. So instead of doing that, I decided to do this. So actually, what I'm gonna do now, I think this is saved. I'm gonna go back. So I should actually put you know what, I'm gonna grab the blog. Yeah, I'm gonna grab the blog and just post it in chat. I'm gonna post that. Gonna post it in the chat. If you guys want to just have it, just to look at it, if you guys want, on your own time. But yeah, so I have two like actual things that I've written on it so far. One of them is Assassin's Creed related for the upcoming Assassin's Creed game, Valhalla. And yeah, so basically what I did for this one was talking about how the main character named Yevor, um, how there's basically a character choice between like a male or female character, and how that doesn't really make sense with the game itself, like the game series. Um, and yeah, like I won't go too much into it. If you guys want to know my thoughts on it, you can give it a read if you guys want. And then another article that I wrote was right after I beat The Witcher 3, and basically saying how I enjoyed the game, and the side quests are what really made it what it was. So yeah, the blog site itself isn't too spectacular looking. I have to spend some time like updating that and making it look good. But yeah, so that's that. This the last blog post that I did was September 19th, so that was quite a while ago. Things have been quite busy for me with school and all that, so like that's partially why I haven't been on Boom streams lately. I've been extremely busy with all my schoolwork, 'cause, like midterms and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully, like once he gets up to like COD World War II for his like throwback, his Call of Duty throwback stream series thing that he's doing. Hopefully, I'll be able to join him for that because I actually have that digitally. So yeah, school is a lot harder from home. Yeah, like I am lucky though. I have so I have five classes for this semester for me. And two of them are in person. So at least I have those. At least I have those two classes. But the rest of them are online, which isn't optimal, but it's what it is. It's for the safety of everyone, and can't really complain too much because yeah, could be worse. Um, but yeah, Green Patriot, I see you in chat. Thank you for stopping by. I didn't acknowledge you before. How's Manifesto going? It's going pretty good actually. I wrote a majority of this 2 days ago. I didn't really get much done yesterday, but yeah, it's fairly lengthy so far. I'm nearly done. I'm nearly done. But since you guys are here, you guys get a little sneak peek as to what my sort of fleshed out thoughts are, and since I've been on Ian's streams, you guys know a good amount of what my thoughts are because they're fairly similar to his. Yeah, but I do have some slightly different things that I think about the game than he does because he's made it quite clear that he doesn't really enjoy he didn't enjoy Cold War very much. But I'm definitely willing to give it a shot. There's obvious issues, but I think if those get ironed out before launch or like shortly after, I think this could be like a new like baseline game. Because Black Ops 2 is considered a baseline game, like basically what Boom said in his stream yesterday, saying that Black Ops 2 is what we should at the very least expect from a Call of Duty game. I'm hoping that if everything works out with Cold War, it could be the new like more modern baseline for Call of Duty. I don't think Cold War will be that bad. However, I don't think it would be very good. However, during the alpha and beta, I've actually had a lot of fun. It's going to be like the junk food of games. I can see that, yeah. It's not the most spectacular thing. It didn't really innovate on much because it's basically taking inspiration from Black Ops 4, in my opinion, and Modern Warfare. It's basically if those two games had a baby. So, still think Cold War is just a run-of-the-mill COD. We will have to see once the game actually comes out. Zombies in the campaign have my attention so far. Zombies does look interesting. Based on what I've seen so far, because I haven't really been following all like the zombie stuff, but yeah, like it seems like they're trying to make zombies more accessible to like the non hardcore zombies people. So I'm all for that because I'm not really a zombies person. So one of the things that caught my eye when they first announced zombies was that you can basically start with any weapon that you want. So if the weapon leveling and progression is really good in zombies, I might go to zombies for weapon leveling. Hey there, this is one Boone. Yes, thank you, Bobson. All right, so I'm gonna give sort of a brief overview. I'm gonna sort of skim through what I have so far, what my thoughts are, because I don't feel like reading all of this to you guys, because there's a lot. But yeah, so yes, I realize I'm late talking about this stuff because it's been like how many weeks now? When was the beta? It was like mid-October, I think. Hold on. Whoops, more beta. Cold War beta. When was the beta? When was the beta? Yeah, I know the beta's ended, thank you. Beta dates. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so the 13th. 13th, okay. Yeah, so it was about 2 weeks ago, kind of, okay. So, I'm 2 weeks late. It's fine, whatever. But I can still give my thoughts on what I hope happens before the game releases. Yeah, so based on my limited playtime, I have a couple thoughts as to what was in the beta, and basically the whole point of this article is to sort of is my thoughts and predictions for what Cold War could mean for like the series as a whole. God, why is my screen flashing? Hold on. I don't know if you guys are seeing that. You guys are not seeing that. What the hell? Why is my screen just like spazzing out? I don't like that. Please don't spaz out again. We good? I think we're good. I think we're good. Nope, we're not good. What's happening? I'm gonna close. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Why is that happening? Why is my screen just like flashing and spazzing out? Hold on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Okay. Nope, we're still spazzing out. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Alright, give me just a moment. Hold on. Technical difficulties. What is happening? Is my computer okay? Uh, is everything okay with my, with all this? Alright. Is everything working? No, it's not. What the hell is happening? God damn it. I broke everything by going on that site. Okay. If you can start with any weapon, what's the point of the weapon box? It's for the people who want to play zombies sort of normally, but like they're trying to make it more accessible to like the more like casual people who really don't play zombies very much. And I think that's a decent decision. Um, we have yet to see how that's going to play out, but I have a feeling it'll bring a lot more people to zombies if it's actually like properly handled. Um, yeah. Okay. So, if my laptop decides to settle down, which it seems to be, um, yeah. So in this in my article, I basically start off with the negatives. So the equipment spam, inconsistent time to kill, and the sliding. So basically the same as Ian's. It's not. Yeah, my thoughts on it aren't really too great, but I sort of have like a slightly different like philosophy to him when it comes to sort of like fixing issues and all that kind of stuff. Because normally, cause like in what was it? In Black Ops 4, for example, whenever I complained about stuff that was in the game, I would like my first instinct would never really be to just say like outright remove it from the game. And I know that that isn't really what Ian says either, but like a lot of people, whenever they make criticisms and want stuff to be changed, they either go to one extreme or the other. So if people want to change, they either say like make it sort of like god tier or remove it from the game. But then there's always that middle ground that I try to take in most situations. But there are certain things where I think like okay, this should be removed because it's sort of unbalanceable or it's just that bad or frustrating to deal with. So so I talk about grenade spam first. With grenade spam, it comes with the fact that everyone's guaranteed a lethal and a tactical, and it's made worse with the danger close wild card. I believe something needs to change with this. Either they need to go to the Black Ops 4 system where you can only get one piece of equipment. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna grab a drink because there's gonna be a lot of reading. Okay, I have a drink. I am ready to read for you guys. Okay. All right. So with in Black Ops 4, you had an option of only one piece of equipment, whether it was lethal or tactical, and you had to pick like one of those things. So if they go back to something like that, I think that could work. And my screen's starting to flash again. This would, in theory, cut the number of equipment being thrown in half, while everyone is still guaranteed one. So it's sort of it's a compromise. Everyone gets one, but they have to choose between a lethal or a tactical. I don't like that my screen is still flashing and freaking out. I appreciate you quoting Boom in the chat, Bob. I would like to see movement be Black Ops 3 or. Sorry, I would like to see the movement be like Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare Zombies movement with the sliding, because that felt good and wasn't clunky. Um, so I actually need to amend something here. Hold on. Yeah, because I need to amend my thoughts on sliding. So I think it was yesterday or the day before. Me and God, what am I saying? Me and Jake played Black Ops 4, and the sliding in that game actually feel like what Cold War sliding should be. So, yeah, I'm saying something positive about Black Ops 4. It's crazy. Um, let's see. God, why is this flashing? I don't understand that. Um, okay, yeah. So if Cold War adopts like a sort of Black Ops 4 system, um, not necessarily with the regenerating equipment, but where you're only guaranteed one piece of equipment and then you have to choose between lethal or tactical, I think that would be a better idea. Um, okay, so another thing from Boom's video um, is basically complete like replacing Danger Close or adding a completely new wild card that would replace lethals and tacticals with Field Upgrade Pro. If you guys watched his video on equipment spam and all that, he mentioned that in his video, and I think that's a really interesting idea, like something that I never really considered before. But I think that could be interesting. I think that's a fair trade-off. So I said with something like this, it would actively remove the annoyance of people having grenades, but at the same time give players something that's arguably just as valuable. So I think that's a fair trade-off. Removing your own utility for team utility, basically. Um, and then the last option would be implement a Pick 10 type system where you have to sacrifice things. I don't necessarily think that would be the best choice, because at this point I think it's too late for them to switch to a Pick 10 system, or like a Pick 10, Pick 13 system where you have to give up stuff to run equipment and like your weapons and attachments and all that. Um, I think this is least likely to occur because of how classes seem to be standardized to have everyone guaranteed a primary, secondary, lethal, and tactical. So like, they're trying to keep some sort of the consistency with all the classes, and I actually noticed this when I went back to Black Ops 4, because after playing like nearly a full year of Modern Warfare, and being guaranteed um, what's it called, a lethal, tactical, and even like a secondary, I would find myself just swapping, trying to swap to my secondary, and just my fist just coming out, and it was really weird trying to readjust to that, because I just got so used to being guaranteed those things. So the thing is, if they decide to change it before the game releases, that's one thing. But then if they decide to switch from the system that they have now to what's it called, to a Pick 10 type system, I think that would be really jarring for a lot of people, especially once they've gotten used to the system already in place. Let's see. The whole thing of them just like swapping created class systems, I sort of touch on here. it's a suggestion that I'm hesitant making whenever I propose changes for games. I try to work with what is there and try to stay away from completely removing the game, moving things from the game unless it's extremely broken. Then you'll see it when I talk about the score streak system. So this is one thing where I really differ in opinion with Boom. Um, like yes, the score streak system has its issues, but the thing is, I think I see the intention of what they were trying to do, and I think it just needs more fine tuning. The thing is, sort of what I was originally thinking. I'm actually going to go into Paint for a second because I want to show you sort of what I was thinking with the score streak system. So just give me a moment. Capture Paint. Actually, do I have Paint already set up? No, I don't. I don't have Paint set up. Hold on. You guys are being awfully quiet in chat. It's making me nervous. Paint. Okay, so I have Paint here. Okay, so I have Paint. Alright, so basically what I was thinking with the score streak system. So if we have a I'm a science person. I like my graphs. Why is it freaking out? So this is frustrating. So if we have a graph, all right, rough graph. Okay, here's the point value. Okay. So here's the streaks, right? Oh, actually, no. Hold on. I'm just gonna clear the whole thing. Okay, so here's the streaks over here. All right, we're gonna do a thing. Streaks. All right. Okay, we're gonna do that. Streaks there, and then we're gonna have the. Okay, I'm gonna reduce the size of that. It's too small. Point value here. Streaks here. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna assume you all know how to read graphs because you guys are very smart for watching Ian. So I'm gonna assume you guys know how to read a graph, and then we're gonna throw a big curveball at a third axis. Oh my god, it's crazy. Third axis. I don't know why that's a lot thinner, but that's okay. Third axis. All right. Here's the cooldown numbers. The cooldown timer. Right. Okay, so we're gonna make red the point values for the streaks. So the point values for the streaks are gonna be red. Okay. All right, guys. Red's gonna be the point values for the streaks. Okay. All right. So red's here, and blue is gonna be the cooldown timers. Right. Okay. We're creating our legend for the graph. All right. This is what I was thinking. Okay. So for the low end streaks, obviously they're gonna be low point value. So this is sort of my ideal situation with the streaks. So obviously nothing's going to start at 0. We're going to start a little bit up here, and then it will see like exponential growth, something like that, right? So the higher end streaks you get, the more score. So the score in theory for the streaks should be exponential, just because they persist after death. Right. So is everyone following? Because since your streaks persist after death, the higher tier streaks should be exponentially higher than the ones before them. Right? That makes sense? Okay. So, with the cooldown timers... Whoa, what was that? Hold on. Whoa! Gamer Boy Bathwater with the $10 donation. Thank you very much. I need to pull up that message. What was that? I missed the message. I'm sorry, hold on, give me just 1 second. I need to pull that up. I appreciate that, Gamer Boy. Give me 1 moment. I missed the message on that. Hold on, I will pull that up. Yeah, Gamer Boy is lurking. Let's see. Good day, Rice Man. Well, good day to you, Gamer Boy. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, so where were we? So, uh, hopefully everyone's following. The higher streak you get, the more exponential the point value should be. And then what happens here, right, is because is with the cooldown timers now. So we're going to be using blue. It should start off low, right? I don't have like a set value. That's going to have to be fine tuned later on. But this is what the cooldown timer should look like, right? Does everyone see why? Does everyone see why I think it should be like this? And I'm actually going to add a little thing. I'm going to add a little thing here too. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, you would have seen me tweet about this a couple times. So on the right hand axis, it's not just the cooldown timer, but that's the distribution of players' skill, right? So the cooldown timer should reflect the distribution of skill, right? Because you don't want to have the cooldown be ridiculously high for the really bad players, right? Because if a really bad player ends up getting like having a really good game and ends up getting like 2 RCXDs, let's say, they wouldn't be able to call it in. They wouldn't be able to call in their second one, right? And that would be really demotivating. But also for the lower tier streaks, most people like most like average players and better won't be really running the lower tier streaks. They'll be running like sort of like the sort of like middle tier to the higher end streaks, right? That's what a majority of the player base runs, aside from like the UAV, which is normally a lower tier streak. So, so in reality, what you want are the mid tier streaks, the things that most people are going to be using, right? You want these streaks to have the longer cooldowns, and then the higher end streaks, you don't want to punish the really good players. So maybe it won't go back to the same cooldown level as the start, but maybe let's erase this a little bit. Let's erase that. Right, so maybe it'll sort of plateau a little higher than the starting point, right? So you don't want to punish the higher end players, because if they're able to get the chopper gunner and able to get multiple, you want them to be able to call in multiple without too much punishment, right? But the thing is, these mid tier streaks, the things that people are going to be earning the most often, if Treyarch really wants to produce the amount of streak spam in the game, all these mid tier streaks should have higher relative cooldowns than the lower tier streaks and the higher tier streaks. Hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. But yeah, that's sort of my thought process with how ideally the streak system would work. But that's not how it was implemented, because so what it is right now, or at least in the beta, so the red stays true. So this is, I'm going to do a little thing down here. What actually happened in beta. Yeah, so this is what actually happened in the beta. So I'm going to do a little thingy here, right? Okay, so purple. This is what happened. So let's pretend this is like 30 seconds, 30-second cooldown. It's just flat line. That's not how it should be, right? Because not every streak is weighted the same, right? Because an RCXD is not a chopper gunner, right? A UAV is not the napalm strike, right? So the thing is, certain streaks should have a lower or higher cooldown based on the actual impact that they have on the game and how easy they are to get. So the mid-tier streaks are easy enough for a majority of the player base to get. So these are the ones you're going to be seeing spammed most often. So these should have the longer cooldowns. I'm looking, downloading Alien Isolation. Very nice, Gamer Boy. Uh, Thank you again for the donation. Um, but yeah, so this is where the issue with streaks comes in for me. I do think that they can fine tune it and eventually make it good, but at the point where it was in the beta, it was not, right. So um, in reality, what I think they should do. So let's pretend the UAV is around like here ish. What they should do is, because this is sort of like a support style streak. This is what it should kind of look like. So there should be a little tiny bump where the UAV is, and then go up, right? Because the UAV is going to be spammed a lot, so there should be a slight increase here with the cooldown, and that's where the fine tuning comes in. So for like the advanced UAV, it's going to be a much higher end streak, or whatever they're going to be calling it, the VSAT, Blackbird, whatever. It'll be somewhere up here, so you don't necessarily need that little sort of bump in the cooldown. But since the UAV is a low tier streak and it's extremely useful, that's where. So if you start off low, so maybe this is like a 15-second cooldown for the RCXD. Hey, Cookie in the Face, welcome. I'm supposed to be writing my blog post, but yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about the score streak system in Cold War and what should happen. So let's pretend the RCXD is around like here-ish, and it has like a 15-second cooldown. If it were to follow what I had here with the blue, then in theory you would think like, oh, maybe it should get like a 20-second cooldown, maybe a 25-second cooldown. If they up it to maybe like a 30-second, because I'm pretty sure there's some stuff in between, some streaks in between the RCXD and UAV. If they make this, if they make the cooldown higher for the UAV than the two next to it, I think that's fair, right? Because there's more utility being brought with the UAV than like the RCXD or whatever came after it, right? So like that's where the fine tuning comes in. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, time to go back to to the actual article that I was trying to write. So hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. I don't necessarily think it's a objectively bad system, but like at all, like the people like hyperbolically saying like before people actually had a chance to play it, saying that little noob Timmy is going to be getting chopper guns. Like, no, they're not, because hold on, I'm going to pull it up again. Because if you look at the red, that's the high end streak. If the point values are distributed exponentially, little Timmy won't be getting his chopper gunner, right? But the thing is, it guarantees that he's at least going to be able to get his UAV and help his team, right? And I think that's more useful than basically just screwing over the new players who aren't very good. Because the thing is, in my opinion, I think they should maybe stack the lower end streaks with more like support stuff. Because if there's a bad player, like they'll at least be contributing something to their team with like a UAV, or like I think I saw body armor, which I'm not a fan of really, but if they do add body armor, I'm pretty sure they did make it a low end streak, where even if you're not the greatest player, you're at least kind of guaranteed to get those things, and that adds value to your team, right? So you're not just, so if you're doing really badly, you're not just dead weight, but you're actually still contributing maybe like at least one UAV or like a thing of body armor, right? I genuinely believe the only way this could be salvaged is removing the cooldowns. Yeah, like the cooldown system is interesting, but I don't really like the like the thing is, the cooldowns help them with what their original goal was with the streaks, with this whole streak system in general. So it was designed to reduce spam. So the cooldowns do accomplish that, but the thing is, they have to fine tune it where they still allow people who are doing well to call in those streaks, and but still keep it at a point where they're not overwhelming. I think it would be much better to revert to the old system. Yeah, like the thing is, technically speaking, obviously I'm no game developer, But with the system that they have in place, it shouldn't be that difficult to revert it back to like how it was in like past Treyarch games, because like all you have to do is just like lower the other point values and make it so the points don't roll over to your next life. Like that shouldn't be too technically difficult. So like if they really need to, I'm sure they can just revert back to that old system without really much issue. Um, but yeah. But the thing is, all this stuff is stuff that I haven't written down yet in my little blog post. So we will get to that eventually. It's demotivating to have it on cooldown. To an extent, yes, because especially with how it was in Cold War, where you had to wait until your streak was destroyed or after. Oh no, there was still a cooldown, right? Because so for example, I think they reduced the cooldown to like 30 seconds. So if you call in your UAV, for 30 seconds after you call in your UAV, you can't earn any points towards it. So that's demotivating. But if you at least still earn some score towards it, and then just are prevented from calling it in until the 30 seconds is up, I think that's better. But the thing is, like for like the sentry gun, for example, like you had to wait for your sentry gun to be destroyed or have its own timer run out before the cooldown kicks in, and I don't agree with that. But again, if this receives tuning like before launch or like not too long after, I think this system could work, but it does need a lot of work. Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, we've talked enough about streaks. We've talked enough about the streaks. Okay, so so I went over the nade spam, cookie in the face. You were a little bit late, so I'll basically just go over like what I said, my thoughts on this. So basically, with the grenade spam, they could go back to like a Black Ops 4 type system, where basically you only have one piece of equipment, but you have to choose between lethals or tacticals. You can't have both. So that would, in theory, cut the nade spam down in half, but everyone's still guaranteed to have one. And then another one was in one of Boom's videos about grenade spam, where you either replace Danger Close or add a new wildcard that replaces your lethals and tacticals with Field Upgrade Pro that was in Modern Warfare. So, yep. Okay, moving on. So, I have a fairly lengthy thing with time to kill, because this was my biggest issue. This is my biggest issue with Cold War. So, me personally, I liked the longer time to kill that Black Ops 4 had, but a lot of the same issues that were in Black Ops 4 with time to kill sort of carried over into Cold War. So basically, there were three things in my opinion that sort of contributed to that. It was the headshot multipliers, the complete lack of flinch, especially when talking about the snipers and shotguns. Oh, hold on. I need to mute myself because my sweet mates are coming out of the room. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. Yeah. So the high headshot multipliers, the complete lack of flinch, especially with shotguns and snipers, and the fact that there are weapons in a higher time to kill game that can still 1 to 2 shot you really really fast. So that's really the big issues that I had with the time to kill. So I had two solutions for like the high headshot multipliers. So this is one of the cases where I suggest that like it could be completely removed, but I don't really like that solution because that's really no fun. So with the headshot multipliers, there are two solutions. One could be to alter the multiplier itself by either completely removing it or drastically lowering it, but it is a boring fix. It's It's not really very inspired. And like there are people who do like the high headshot multipliers. Like there's a sort of compromised idea that I have for something like that, and I think I mentioned it on Boom streams before. But another solution is to add a whole new magazine attachment to like the list that's already there. But when you run it, it gives you the higher headshot multiplier. So by default, it's going to be basically non-existent or really low. But if you decide to run the new magazine attachment, it brings you up to what it is to what it was in the beta, and but it's there's a trade off there because you're limited to the default mag size. So let's say you're running a one of those like the 30 round assault rifles, right? No, it's starting to flash again. No. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so if you're running one of the laptop, settle down. If you're running one of the 30 round assault rifles, fucking god. And you decide to run the sort of like high caliber type magazine attachment. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I don't know what is happening with my laptop right now. Why is it flashing like this? Yeah, so you're stuck to that 30 round magazine, and you can't run extended magazine, you can't run fast mags. I think that's a fair trade off. If you want that higher headshot multiplier, you have to give up other things to do so. You're not just guaranteed it. So yeah, so that's those are my thoughts on the headshot multipliers. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, I've talked about that multiple times. So with the flinch, results in moments where shooting first does not matter because your enemy is not knocked off target when you're hitting them. So the thing is, I do think flinch needs to exist in COD in at least some shape or form, like whether it be like very little or like sort of like moderate amount. Yeah. So the idea of shooting, the idea that you can be shooting an enemy and they're still able to fight back without any hindrance leads to many questionable deaths. We question how they can be so accurate while you're hitting them. Yeah, so basically with the like snipers, for example, like I'll be getting to that in a little bit. God, what? I don't understand why my screen keeps on like flashing and like spazzing out. But yeah, so mainly in regards to like the one shot kill weapons or like the super high damage weapons that can kill you in like maybe like 2 shots. I think those weapons do need some sort of flinch. And then yeah, because from what I saw in the beta, if you're shooting like at a sniper sort of long range and then you hit them a couple times, they're still perfectly accurate and their shot isn't affected at all, really. Yeah. So lastly, with the one to 2 shot kill weapons, I talked about this on Twitter I think a couple days ago. This is one of the things where I think they need to be either completely reworked or just completely removed. Because in a longer time to kill game like Cold War, 1 to 2 shot kill weapons should either be really clunky to use or not exist at all. And that's mainly referring to shotguns and snipers. I believe that the snipers in Cold War were very fast and resulted in too many quickscoping deaths. It's poor balancing when a one-shotting sniper can kill you faster than you can even get all the shots needed to kill them, right? Because, like, in theory, if a person is proficient at quickscoping, their time to kill really is just their ADS speed. So if they completely stack their gun for ADS speed, which I'm pretty sure is possible in Cold War, I think there are a couple attachments for that. Really, all you need to do is just ADS, and then your time to kill is essentially 0, right? It's just if you spot an enemy, aim down sights, however long that takes. That's how long it takes for you to kill someone. But with like a regular like assault rifle, let's say, you have the ADS speed, so that's you have that amount of time, plus the actual time to kill from when you fire your first shot until they die, right? So you add those two together, that's longer than it takes for the sniper to just ADS. So that is something where I think the snipers need to be slowed down a little bit. And basically, like quick scoping, like I don't necessarily think quick scoping should be completely removed because like if you're good enough to do it, you should be able to do it. But the thing is, it shouldn't result in, especially in games like Black Ops 4 or Cold War once it eventually comes out, where like every other gun needs maybe like 1 to 2 more shots to kill, but you still ADS faster than the total time it takes for an assault rifle to ADS and get off the number of shots they need. Right. So yeah, and one thing that I saw recently, uh, so I have a quick question for you guys in chat. Do you guys know who Nine Lives is? Do you know like what he does and all that kind of stuff? God, I feel like my professor's checking up on the chat to see if you guys are still alive. You don't know who Nine Lives is. All right. Well, so basically, Nine Lives is a sniping YouTuber. He's one of the more like he's no pro like Pomage is, but like he's extremely proficient at quick scoping, and he gives he's basically like a sniper tips and tricks channel kind of. Um, he put out a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where he was sort of like bashing people who thought that like snipers are like OP and broken, which like I don't think they are. But the thing is, I do think that they should be sort of toned down, especially for games like Cold War and and previously in Black Ops 4. I think they should have been toned down in those games specifically, because it doesn't make sense when every other weapon takes 1 to 2 more shots to kill, that they can still one shot extremely easily and as quickly as they do. Um, but yeah, so basically what his argument was, for why sniping shouldn't be toned down, in Cold War, and this is and I was like really turned off by it because it was such a elitist point of view. He was basically saying that snipers shouldn't be toned down in Cold War because snipers are the better players, and like the thing is, that's not why people want them to be toned down. The thing is like yes, if you're using a sniper, you're and like quick scoping like that, you are handicapping yourself. Yes, like you could be doing better with an assault rifle or an SMG or whatever else. But the thing is, like the whole idea that like snipers are just better players than the average person who uses an assault rifle, that wasn't really getting at the argument, that people were really getting at, because the reason why the snipers were an issue in Cold War, and also in Black Ops 4, was because their time to kill, like their theoretical time to kill, was like almost half the amount of time of a assault rifle or an SMG. Um, Hello, Ethan. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. They want them to be toned down because they one shot kill to basically any part of the body. Sort of true. Yes. They do have a big like one shot kill area, in or like a fairly decent one shot kill area in Cold War from what I remember. What if I walk up to someone with a AK-74U and start praying, and he start spraying, not praying, spraying and praying maybe, and he one shots me with the sniper up close? Yeah, like that's not the most balanced thing. I'm not against quick scoping because like it does take some sort of skill and coordination to do that. So I don't want it to be completely removed from the game, and it should still be possible if you're really that good. But the thing is, it shouldn't be to the point where your time to kill is half that of an assault rifle or SMG. Like obviously, I'm exaggerating with like the time to kills and all that, but like that's realistically what it is. Especially if you can speed up the ADS speed of the snipers. You just need to ADS and then just pull the trigger or click your left mouse button, and then you win. What about thorax one shot kill. Yeah, like the thing is, if you're able to get nail headshots with the sniper, it should always be a one shot kill, right? Because sometimes it's lucky, sometimes it's not. If you're able to line up that headshot, it should always be a one shot. All right, so let's see. Let's see. All right, where's I? It's poor balancing. When a sniper can kill you faster than you can get all the shots needed to kill them. Okay. Oh god, burps. Okay. I don't fully object to quickscoping being possible because I think it takes some form of skill to do. I think it should be made more difficult to avoid situations like what we saw in Black Ops 4 with the Koshka and in Modern Warfare with the Kar 98 MK2 and the R700. And as far as I know, the R700 never ended up getting an actual nerf because I'm not sure if they fixed it after its initial nerf. That didn't really do much of anything at all. Yeah, because I'm not sure if the R700 is still like running rampant in Modern Warfare because I haven't really played it since I touched Cold War. So yeah, I've been too busy with school stuff and playing other things. So all right. Let's see. Okay, now with shotguns, I believe they should be completely removed or made a power weapon, almost like what Boom was saying. So, shotguns, on the other hand, like yes, like they're also 1 to 2 shot weapons, and if you need a second shot, you get those off really fast. So yeah, I think shotguns should be completely removed for the game, or they should be made much more difficult to use. Right, but the thing is, if you make them more difficult to use, then like, what's the point of having them there at all? Because with shotguns, you don't even need to aim down sight. You can just hip fire and just spray, right? And like that really doesn't require any skill at all. You just need to like look at the person, then just like start spamming the trigger. Kind of like what I said. Unlike sniper rifles, where you actually have to aim down your sights to consistently get a one-shot kill, snipers do not require any resemblance of aiming. All I have to do with shotguns is to look in the general direction of an enemy and hit fire as you spam the trigger. Right. The Howler and the Grau in Cold War are way too easy to use, and it's made worse considering that they are secondary weapons. You do not have to give up a primary. You can potentially have 8 attachments on while using the right wildcard, and have such a powerful secondary weapon. Although I've seen people say that the shotguns aren't terrible to go against during the beta, many of those people didn't have attachments unlocked for them yet. Shotguns and secondaries is a bit annoying. I don't know why Treyarch did that again. I don't know why either. The thing is, if they wanted to have shotguns as secondaries, they should really their purpose should be they should fit a similar purpose to the pistols, where basically they in theory shouldn't be used as primary weapons. They should their main purpose is to sort of finish off already damaged enemies. The thing is, like, obviously, if you set things up correctly, you can make anything a primary weapon. You can make your combat knife a primary weapon if you set up your class right. So, like, I don't know, like, but the thing is, the way that like shotguns have been handled in the past couple games, like they've gotten to the point where like they're just way too easy to use, and for some reason, Infinity Ward and Treyarch seem really keen on having the spammy type shotguns, and I'm not really a fan of that. Okay, where's that? Okay, although I've seen people say that they didn't see. Okay, they didn't have the attachments locked for the shotguns yet. Okay, I have a strong feeling that shotguns could be a major issue when the game releases unless the damage is greatly reduced on them, their fire rate is slowed, or they're completely removed, which is something that will never happen. So I'm not too optimistic that the shotguns will be in a good state during the launch of the game, but you can hope. You can hope for the best. So the last of the major issues that I had with the game. Here's the big spooky words down there. I'll get to that in a second. So my last major issue that I had with Cold War, I need to update this a little bit later on. Let's see. My last major issue that I had with Cold War was the speed of the movement, more specifically with the speed and distance of the sliding. Based on my limited time in the beta, it felt as if Treyarch ripped the sliding out of Black Ops 3 and pasted it into Cold War. Do you guys agree with that? Because if like based on like what I've seen, like when Boom was playing the alpha and also the first beta weekend on PlayStation, it really did seem like whenever he was sliding around, he had basically his sort of like the booster slide from Black Ops 3, because that's what it really felt like. So what do you guys think about that? I'm gonna change the color of these lights. You know what? Since we're talking about Black Ops, I'm gonna try to make it orange. That's not really orange very much. Orange. There we go. Does that reflect on stream? Let's see. Does that translate on stream very well? Not really. Whatever. Yeah. So what do you guys think about the sliding? Um, the sliding in Cold War didn't bug me too much, but they definitely need to adjust it a little. I'm not sure how exactly. Yeah, that's fair. Because I remember on Twitter I had a little debate with Josh the Sniper, and he was saying that like he didn't really have any issues like at all with the sliding, and like I didn't necessarily agree with that because there were way too many situations where people were sliding much further than I thought they would, considering like the speed that they were like sprinting at. Because like the the one thing that's really jarring, like at least from my experience with the sliding in Cold War, is that it um, didn't seem to match your sprinting speed, right? Because the speed you slid at and the distance you slid didn't really match what your sprinting speed was, right? Because you moved further and moved faster than what you were originally sprinting at. At least that's what it looked like, and that's what it felt like. So like I do think it needs to be toned down a bit, and I'll get to that in just a second. Josh loves his speed. I don't think I've ever seen him play Modern Warfare, so I don't know exactly how he plays, but yeah, like I like my speed too, but like it was I think it's a little bit much for Cold War at least. Um, yeah, okay. Uh, Looks like they ripped the sliding out of Black Ops 4 and pasted it into Cold War. You slide ridiculously fast and far, even after the nerf following the first PS4 beta weekend. Um, while I personally would like to see sliding revert back to its intended purpose, like it was in Ghosts, where it was used for evasion, I know that won't happen, right? Because like if you guys watched Boom's live stream where he played Ghosts, I like that kind of sliding where like it's really just a tactical like evasive maneuver rather than a offensive move, and I talk about that. Um, Sliding has developed into a an extremely effective. I got an error. This is why you read your essays out loud. Um, okay, sliding has developed into an extremely effective offensive maneuver. That that was hard to say. Extremely effective offensive maneuver. Um, and I think the sliding speed needs to be slightly slowed down even further and reduce the sliding distance by about a third or a quarter. Um, Another possible change could be another change that could bring it more in line of a tactical maneuver over an offensive one is to make the hipfire absolutely awful. So basically, have the hipfire take up the entire screen, or at least like half the screen. So yeah, so just make the hipfire absolutely awful while sliding, or to increase the time it takes to recover from the slide. So basically, you basically if you increase the time, like the recovery time from after sliding, you can't really use it offensively because if you're trying to slide behind an enemy, it's going to take you longer to get your gun up. So it gives more time to the person you're trying to attack. It gives them more time to turn and actually fight you. Um, and yeah, and then it also and then another thing that fixes is It's the sort of like chain sliding where like you sprint slide or like however they did it in the beta, where like you slide jump slide jump slide jump slide jump and then just keep doing that like across the map. So that solves that issue too. Um, yeah. So as much as I myself enjoy using sliding to my advantage in offensive situations, I feel that definitely needs to be toned down based on my time in game. So thoughts so far. Thoughts on screen spazzing again. Thoughts on the grenade spam, the inconsistent time to kill, and the movement in Cold War. What do you guys think about those things? Do you think my thoughts are good? They're reasonable. Do you completely disagree? Um, uh, yeah, and I'm actually going to add a little thing to that because I did play Black Ops 4 recently, and I did like the sliding in that game. So, let's see, what can I right? Uh, let's see. It's reasonable. Hold on. Okay. Um, okay. So I added on to the end. Recently, my buddy Jake and I went back to play Black Ops 4. While I still do hate the game with a passion, I hope that Cold War used the sliding that was in that game. The speed and distance of the slide was reasonable, and it matched the general pace of the game. Uh, it all sounds good and reasonable. All right, well that's good. Okay, so I did not finish this section yet. Um, all right, so you guys get to actually hear my thought process when I'm thinking about this stuff. Okay, so now that the negative things are out of the way, there are a few things that I'm waiting to comment on or to call outright bad. For these things, I think that I need more information about it, or they could work as long as they receive the proper attention. So, bringing the magical graph up again. This. I will be talking about this. Uh, spent a lot of time on that. Um, okay, so the first of these things, skill-based matchmaking. If my laptop stops freaking out. Okay, skill-based matchmaking. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay. I don't want to say too much because my thoughts are very clear on Twitter. Yeah, you guys, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you've seen a lot of it. But based on the beta, there's no good evidence to suggest that skill-based matchmaking existed in the beta or will exist strongly during the game's release. Right. As I said on Twitter, the vast majority of the people who played the beta were part of one of these groups: content creators, pros, and hardcore fans. Right. Those are really the only people who play betas really for any game, right? You can maybe minus out the pros for certain games like Assassin's Creed stuff and all that. What am I saying? Like any game that has like a beta, Assassin's Creed makes no sense. for that. But yeah, so you have the content creators, you have the streamers and YouTubers trying to get good quality gameplay and content for their videos and reviews of the beta. You have the pro players, you have the nade shots, you have Scump, you have Pomage, you have all those other like super top tier players playing the game, and you also have the hardcore fans. Like I would consider myself a fairly hardcore fan. I'm not the greatest, but I really enjoy the series. You have people like Ian, who falls into two categories. He's the content creator and a hardcore fan of the game. You have my buddy Jake, who's playing, and I'm pretty sure Ethan in chat, EB Lax, was also playing the Cold War beta as a fan. So these three groups are going to be at a significantly higher skill level than what the player base would actually look like in once the game actually releases, and even more so after the holidays, after like Christmas, Hanukkah, and like that during that time. Um, so let's see. Sure, some more casual players are playing the beta, but nowhere near the same amount we'll see at release or past the holidays. Yeah, so one of the reasons why some more casual players than what we normally see in the betas is because they actually made the beta easily accessible for and free. You didn't have to pre-order the beta in order to actually get into the at least the tail end of the beta weekends. Yeah, so we did see some like casual players just hopping on to see what was going on with Cold War. Um, okay, so the alpha and beta player base is such a skewed sample that leads more towards the higher skill end of the player base, and you cannot determine anything about skill-based matchmaking unless you completely ignore statistics and demographics. That's a very bold statement that I feel that I'm making. Yeah, because like unless you just ignore facts, like sure, oh this Cold War put me up against the exclusive base, it put me against Drifter, put me against Scump and Nade Shot and all those guys. It's like, oh, skill based matchmaking must be in the game. It's like look at the player pool you have, like obviously you're gonna be sweating a little bit more in the beta than you would expect to during the actual release of the games. Like you're just ignoring facts at that point. Yeah. Okay. Okay. As I posted on Twitter that in general the Call of Duty player base resembles a typical bell curve distribution. And to bring this up, that's sort of blue line here, a bell curve, average distribution. All right. Oh wait, no, it's not even pulled up. It's the blue line, average distribution. Statistics. All right. Okay. I keep bringing the graph up. It's a good graph, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, so that's in general, obviously is not perfect. That's not 100% true. But that's generally what you would expect a typical player base to look like. And you can even see it in Siege, I'm pretty sure. Oh god, I can't type. Rainbow Six Siege rank distribution. All right, so this is actually very interesting. Okay, okay, so this one. Where's this? What is that? Okay, this is actually really interesting to look at right here. So this is year 3, season 4. So this was a little while ago, but you can see some sort of resemblance of a bell curve type shape, and obviously it's more skewed towards this side of the spectrum, and in general that's kind of because there's in general I'm not saying this is completely true, but Rainbow Six players tend to be a higher average skill than a Call of Duty player. Let's face it, right? Because because Siege is a much more technical game than Call of Duty is. There's a lot more to learn and much more knowledge to acquire in Siege than like Modern Warfare, for example. Because in Siege you have the destructibility. You need to know what's destructible, what lines of sight you can get from where, how the synergies between the operators work, and just a ton of other stuff that I'm forgetting about. Like it's been a while since I've actually played Siege. Um, yeah, like so the thing is the Siege player base, and keep in mind this is only the people who play ranked, right? So this is generally the higher end players anyway, right? Because the more casual people are just going to play casual or unranked, and then these are the people that actually care about their rank somewhat, or are just like trying it out. Um, so yeah, you're going to see a higher distribution of players along the right hand side of this bell curve, and that's kind of what we saw in the beta. You're going to have more of like the higher skill content creators, pros, and then the higher like the sort of the higher end of like the average player base, right? So things are going to be more skewed towards this end. Um, so yeah, that's basically what I talk about in this. Yeah, okay. Um, the alpha and beta player base is such a skewed sample that leans more towards the higher end of the player base that you can not determine anything about skill-based matchmaking unless you completely ignore statistics and demographics. Okay. Um, okay, I did that already. Okay. In general, the Call of Duty player base resembles a typical bell curved distribution. Look that up. You don't know what it is. Where you have significantly more average players than absolute noobs or the highest level pros. Right. So the average players are going to be right in the middle. That's the highest peak of the blue line here. The highest peak, those are the average players. That's where like the vast majority of the player base is. That's like almost like 70 something percent of the player base, and the rest are like either really bad or really good, right? Okay. Let's see. Uh, okay, yeah. So you have significantly more average players than absolute noobs and the highest level pros. In the beta, this curve resembled a left skewed distribution. So that's what it's sort of opposite of what you would think. So left skewed means that like all like the average player is now more towards the right side of that curve. So kind of what we saw with the siege graph. So kind of like this, more towards the other right side. This is where like the average is. The top of silver and bottom end of one. That's where the average player would be. Um, okay. Sure, the noobs still exist, but okay. So speaking from the beta, sure the noobs still do exist because statistically there are going to be some noobs in there, um, but at an even smaller amount than what would normally be there at launch, right? Because so if you skew the average more to the right, the number of those lower end players is going to be significantly lower. Is it than if the average was in the middle, right? So statistically speaking, there should have been at least a couple like absolute noobs in there, but that's unlikely. In reality, that's unlikely to actually have like the super noobs in like betas and alphas. Let's see. Uh, the average player during the beta is significantly better than what you would normally see, so there's no evidence beyond subjective experience, at least from the beta, that skill-based matchmaking exists. Um, is that reasonable? Thoughts? Do you think skill-based matchmaking was in the beta um, in any form? What do you guys think about that? I do appreciate you guys sticking around, though, because I'm sort of going off on tangents. And this is the most talking I've done in a while, so my voice is actually getting kind of strained. Because I've sort of been cooped up in my room, going out 3 times a week for my classes, and then my only other interactions with people are on the are at the fast food drive-throughs that are near my school. So that's really the only human interactions I've been having. You guys still alive? How many of you are actually still here? I'm curious. Is there a thing to check that? Uh, oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm on the sort of stream dashboard thing, and I think it only shows subscribers. I don't know. This is weird because it just shows you Green Patriot. You're the lucky one who's sticking it out. I appreciate that. Uh, all right, let's see. It was probably in the beta, but I think people exaggerate how harsh and strict it was. I'm waiting for launch to see what testing can be done. Yes, I do agree with that because Ace and Drifter didn't do any like testing like whatsoever. But the thing is, like I'm sure that Ace, Sour, and Drifter and others will test it at launch. Yeah, I did see Sour put out uh, a video a while back showing some testing that he did in the beta. So I think those three are going to be working together. Um, all right. But yeah, like I am surprised though that that as far as I know, neither Ace or Drifter said to or even brought up the idea that the player base is sort of skewed in a beta. Like I'm surprised that they never even brought that up as far as I know. Because the thing is, the community was like going absolutely crazy, saying like, "Oh, there's skill based matchmaking and all that kind of stuff," and like I don't understand why they didn't, as far as I know, um, say that like, yeah, this isn't the same type of player base you'll be seeing at launch. Like the only people who play betas are like the content creators, the pros, and the hardcore fans really. So like I don't know why they didn't bring that up, like publicly at least. That really confused me because like they're sort of perpetuating a sort of like I wouldn't even call it a conspiracy at this point because like we know it's gonna be there, but but it's sort of like the hyperbole and like exaggeration, just sort of spreading sort of bad analytical thinking. I don't know because like especially since like Ace and Drifter are so like their channels are focused on like analytical, like data driven stuff. I'm surprised they didn't really say much, if anything at all, about it. It's really surprising to me. Um, yeah, so moving on from skill based matchmaking because we talked about that for a decent amount. So again, moving on from that, I'm hesitant to comment about progression. So progression in terms of like prestiging and like, but in my post, I'm talking more so about what's it called? About weapon progression. Um, so I do hope prestiging does return, right? Because I wasn't a huge fan of the what's it called the sort of officer levels but part of the reason that was like yes once you reached uh the the max officer rank so like rank 155 there was nothing really after that because I didn't really care about the challenges too much because they were in my opinion kind of ridiculous so I stopped caring after like I think season 2 um but yeah, like with prestiging, there's something to work for. There's progression after you reach like the max level in a prestige. You can prestige again, then keep going. Um, but yeah, like I do hope they don't bring back the 1,000 extra levels afterwards. I think they can do something more creative than that. Or if they decide to bring that back, they better give better rewards. Because I don't even know, I don't remember what they did in Black Ops 4. But in Black Ops 3, once you reached Master Prestige and started working towards that rank 1,000, you only got like emblems or not emblems. Was it emblems? No, you could change your prestige icon. That's what it was. That's not a reward. Like it's not. So they have to give something much better than that. Um, yeah. So I liked how Cold War cut down the number of basically useless attachments that were there in Modern Warfare. But but most of them actually like so the attachments in Cold War like really were like the typical attachments we used to see. There was nothing really like gimmicky or sort of like this like this attachment really fucks up your gun, but it's fun. There was really none of that. Um, but yeah, like I do hope they bring back some of those things in Cold War. If not at launch, maybe like later on down the road where they start adding attachments to the game if they handle it similar to how Modern Warfare did, where they release attachments later on. But another thing that they did in Cold War that is actually interesting is that for the most part every gun has a sort of equivalent attachment. All the weapon classes. Hello, Lenny. Welcome to the stream. It is nighttime for me, but good morning for you. Good morning to you. Um, but yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so there's the one attachment that increases your damage range, and that attachment is essentially the same, like maybe altering like number values for the for every other weapon class. So what they could do is add an attachment that for every single weapon that does kind of the same thing, like maybe like different numbers, but they can add like this the same type of like gimmicky attachment for every weapon. Who knows what they can do. Um, yeah. So uh, yeah. So as of right now, the attachments seem to be handled well, but I think more variety needs to be added to bring more long term replayability to the game as the game's life cycle goes on. Um, if they go the route of Modern Warfare and release a new attachment down the road, I would be okay with that. And then if weapon conversions were included as well, that would make things even more fun. Yeah, because like granted, I didn't use the weapon conversions in Modern Warfare very much because I just stuck to like my main few weapons. Um, but yeah, like because most of the guns that did have the conversions, they were either on guns that I wasn't really a fan of, or they were like just really weird things that just like hindered you more than it helped you. Because like for example, like those hollow point rounds on the what's it called, the Vector and the Striker. Those were okay. The file size you can't really help that too much because like yeah, because like the graphics have been getting better in Call of Duty, so like the file size is going to be bigger, but like it's obviously it's not optimal, but like it's not great. Um, yeah, like that doesn't the file size like because basically what like I'm talking about like in this is like things that would actually affect like the game quality, and file size doesn't really fall into that. But like yeah, like that is an issue. Um, but I'm sure eventually down the road that'll get sorted out. But at this point in time, there there probably just isn't a way yet to sort of significantly shrink that down. Um, yeah, like don't get me wrong, like it is an issue, but it's probably just based on like our current state of technology right now. Um, yeah, because like yes, like there are like much larger games in terms of like actual like in game like size like the world of the game and like and all that kind of stuff. Because like so I'm gonna bring up the Witcher for example. The Witcher is an absolutely massive game, but it's nowhere near as graphically impressive as like Modern Warfare, let's say. It's not just the assets; it's the coding. Destiny 2 has many worlds. in a game smaller than Modern Warfare. Um, the thing is, like, I don't know. I'm not a developer. I'm not really like well versed in that kind of stuff. So who knows? It could be technical limitations. It could be a whole bunch of things, but I'm not too sure why like Modern Warfare and Cold War is going to be so much larger than like everything else. I'm not sure why that's going to be, or why that is. What day is it today? Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I have so far. Not done yet. Uh, but yeah, probably the last thing I'm gonna add to this is the whole discussion that we had earlier this stream that unfortunately you missed, Lenny, where I talked about the whole score streak system. But yeah, that's probably gonna be my last like big um, addition to this blog post. But I'm not sure if you guys can hear it in my voice, but my voice is getting really strained from doing this. So, because I haven't really talked this much in quite a long time because I haven't really needed to. So yeah, my voice is getting very strained. I'm gonna add a couple tags. Call of Duty. Yeah, Call of Duty. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Um, so, is there anything else you guys think I should maybe add to this? Any of your own personal grievances that you have with the game? Um, what do you guys think is what do you guys think Black Ops Cold War is gonna be like once it finally comes out in God, it's just over a week. Yeah, it's coming out very soon. Or okay, well, almost 2 weeks. In almost 2 weeks. Yeah, I am kind of upset though because Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming out just a couple days before then, so I'm gonna have really limited playtime on that. No, I'm not gonna refer to Jake as my furry friend. I am not going to do that because that's weird. And I want to make this seem somewhat professional. So even if I may think that, which I do not, I am not going to write that down because that's going to end up being a thing. I was like a sort of a short story that I had to write for my English classes where I had one of my friends um, like proofread it, and they added right in the middle. Yeah, 'cause I had to write a short story, and they added "I was shook" to the middle of my short story, and I kept on telling them to like just to remove it because I would end up forgetting, and they're like, "Oh no, it's fine. You'll remember." But then so I forgot to remove it. I handed it in to get graded, and when I was reading through, like I saw it there, but for some reason my professor didn't even like comment on it. So I was like, oh my god, I forgot to get rid of I was shook. So yeah, I don't want to be adding things that I'm definitely gonna be forgetting about. So besides, like even if I did forget about it, even if I did forget about it, I can always go back and like make a couple edits later on. Because like whenever I publish something, I can go back and edit. Lack of weapon variety. The thing is, the lack of weapon variety could have just been because of the game being in the beta. Um, what if all the automatics are going to be high DPS, low recoil? Not confirmed, just speculative concern. Yeah, like the thing is, I'm not overly concerned with weapon variety or like the number of weapons in the game because it was just the beta. Because between the alpha and the first, sorry, and the first beta weekend, they added a couple weapons. So The thing is, it would be an issue if the weapons that we saw in the betas are the same number of weapons we have at launch. That would be an issue. But I'm really hoping that that there's going to be more weapons at launch, because there wasn't too many. There don't get me wrong, there was a decent amount, but I do hope to see a couple more pistols. As much as I hate the shotguns, like there only being two, that's a really pitiful number. Um, I hope there's going to be more than two snipers. Maybe like one or two more ARs and SMGs, another LMG, something like that. And honestly, I don't like the melee weapons. So if they get rid of those, I would be perfectly fine. But that's definitely not going to happen. So um, let's see. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for this stream. My voice is very strained. Yeah, I'm gonna need a day to recover from this. Another suggestion: optimization. Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 have concerning records regarding their technical performance. And with Cold War's horrendous development cycle, I'm really worried. Yeah, I think that could be a major issue, but we'll just have to see about that. From what I experienced in Cold War, it seemed to run pretty well. Um, but the thing is, again, that's with a limited player base, so we'll have to see what happens once the game actually gets into the hands of uh, the vast Call of Duty player base. So that is something we will have to see. But yeah, I'm going to end off this stream before I completely destroy my voice. Um, but yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. The a super quick donation rundown. Gary Bathwater, I'm not sure if he's still here, but I appreciate the $10 donation earlier this stream. I appreciate that a lot. That money is going to go to is going to be put to good use. Might get some food sometime this weekend with those $10. So thank you for stopping by and sticking through my rambling and all that. I didn't even add anything to this blog post at all, except for like 3 sentences with my experience with sliding after playing Black Ops 4 the other day. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by, and thank you for watching.